Yeah, it's back
So
now on the
we're
screen.
gonna
I see
just
that we're
continue,
live.
right?
Okay.
Uh,
Um,
Go ahead, Eric.
yeah, so I don't know if this is just going to continue from the previous video or if this is just going to start a new one and
It's gonna start a new one.
it's good. Okay, well here we go then. So I'm on a road trip right now. I'm in my car, obviously. Um, and yeah, I just got a few interesting things I want to talk about. One of them being um, trees and the freakish amount of fallen trees that I started noticing where I'm temporarily living right now in West Virginia, kind of the, what is it, the central, southern, and eastern edge of West Virginia, pretty close to the Virginia border. And starting back in December of last year, there was that like really hyped up deep freeze that came through. You guys remember
Yeah,
that?
I remember that.
Yeah, it was, the Midwest, and it was probably like -40 plus or -40 minus in Wisconsin. Um, with the wind chill factored in, I mean, yeah, I mean, in West Virginia, it was probably -40 or even colder. And I woke up one morning during this couple day deep freeze. I woke up to an extremely loud crack and thud, and we had one of our big, like 100-foot tall pine trees come crashing down and landing on our barn. Um, and the top half of that tree is still on top of our barn to this day. It's going to be hard to get it down. It's like completely just laying on top of the barn.
Yeah, that's not gonna be an easy task, is it?
Yeah, yeah, no, it weighs a lot.
Yeah.
And then my dad chainsawed the bottom half of that pine tree. So anyway, that kind of started what has continued since then, all through the winter, and even until just 2 days ago, when uh, I heard people chainsawing in the morning, and I went down just a couple 100 feet away from our property, and a huge tree that was 100 plus years old. I mean, it was like one of the main big old trees. It was just laying in its side, and 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 that night, yep, it was another kind of cold and extremely windy night. It's like there's been these wind storms all through the winter, um,
Well,
causing havoc. And I've been driving. I drive like an hour to go to the gym where I'm at right now. We're so out in the boonies. So I get a lot of sights like through some national forests and campground areas, places with like a ton of trees. And after some of these deep freeze and extreme wind nights, I'll be driving and I'll notice like thousands of trees down.
that's
And
crazy. That's what's going on here too.
yeah, so I wanted to say that this is happening. So I'm on the East Coast. You're in Texas.
Midwest, or I guess you call it Midwest.
You're in Texas, and it's happening
Hmm.
there. And
Yeah,
then I linked, and it's the same thing. It's just trees just freakishly being knocked over, leaning over, cracking above
slanted
the.
towards the equator.
Yeah, yeah, and we've got
Right.
that too in our yard. They're if they're not dead, they're like they look dead and they're like leaning over. We've got one that's like on a 45 right now.
Yeah, it's bizarre. And Candy, do you have any? Are your trees doing that there too?
Well, like I said, though, we live like in the middle of the hundred
You
acre
love
forest.
this.
So it's always stuff happening around here, but so it's
Yeah.
kind of hard to determine, what's natural and what's unnatural because there's so many.
Right.
Well,
So, but we always have trees down all the time. We have a
well,
lot of wetlands here too with the what do they call them? The cypress trees,
Yeah.
which those are protected. But I mean, still, it's like I said. I mean, it's lots of pine trees too out here.
Right.
Well, you're in Florida too, so you're not going to be subject to this like 1-2 punch that I've been
Yeah,
noticing. The
yeah.
the extreme freeze combined with the extreme windstorms just destroying the trees, and it's got to be happening like in a huge
Yeah.
probably a majority of America right now. And I linked you to that YouTube video that shows Palo Alto. So I don't know if that's easy to bring up and play. So what we'll be able to show then is it's happening over there, all the way on the West Coast. It's happening in Texas. It's happening in West Virginia. I've been driving around today. I went from West Virginia to North Carolina, and I keep on looking over, and I just see crazy amount of downed trees over and
Mm.
over and over and over again, and they're fallen in the same way. They're cracked at like above the roots,
So
like
weird.
halfway up. They're just cracked and fallen over and dead. Uh,
Had you seen any of
Super
the
weird.
trees that were like here a while back that was burning from the inside out? They were blaming it on the dew, DEW.
I heard about that, and I saw the
Mhm.
videos, and yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna pull that up. Hold on just a second. I'm trying to get that Eric was just talking about. Gotta pull this backwards somehow. Okay, let's see what's happening.
I'm gonna step out for a thing. I think go potty.
Okay, alrighty.
I'm just
Just one
let it
second.
go a minute while I take care of him.
Okay, I'm gonna share this too. So hopefully, is that up yet or no? It's probably not.
Oh yeah, you got it
Okay.
up.
All right. So let's see. Did I go too
So
far? I need to probably go
And
back
that.
through.
And that too.
you probably just have to play like the first minute or less.
But first, we begin with
Yeah.
first alert weather and a
So this is it, correct?
This is it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and play it then. There you go.
scary scene right now in Palo Alto where falling trees and power lines are posing a huge danger for residents and first responders. Good evening, I'm Elizabeth Cook.
And I'm Ryan Yamamoto. Let's get right to Len Ramirez live in Palo Alto where trees were just toppling like dominoes in one neighborhood. Len.
Well, Ryan, can you imagine what it must have been like to be inside this home when this massive tree fell over? You can see the very thick branches here. This is said to be one of the oldest trees in the city, and it just crushed the entire front portion of this house.
Wow.
There were 2 people inside. They got out okay, but this was happening throughout the city this afternoon. The streets of tree-lined Palo Alto took on a dangerous and scary feel as the winds whipped through the city.
The wind was super strong. I was watching it bend the trees in my own yard, and sure enough, my power goes out, and I come out to investigate, and I see this big tree laying down here.
This century-old oak toppled onto a house and a parked car on Middlefield Road. No one was in the car, but 2 people were inside the house.
It definitely had them trapped where they couldn't get out of the front. We had to rescue them from the rear of the structure. But there were no injuries to the residents that live there.
The house sustained major damage and was red tagged.
Wow.
The sound of sirens could be heard throughout the city as first responders sped from call to call. Multiple trees fell in the neighborhoods around Embarcadero Road, closing down the main artery just before the afternoon rush. Several parked and empty cars were crushed, including this Tesla that was clobbered by a 100-foot evergreen.
We didn't hear a thing until the neighbors came and told us that the trees fallen in our garden. Yeah, thanks God nobody's hurt.
Most of the trees that fell also brought down power lines. Electricity is out in wide portions of Palo Alto, and neighbors are anxious. One even took to wearing a helmet on her run, just in case.
I mean, there are trees down everywhere. On my run, I went for just a couple miles
like
and
it's
saw
slow on
many
the
trees down
screen.
and falling real time.
Yeah.
As the winds continue, no one knows which tree, which house will be next.
I guess we're considering ourselves lucky that it wasn't our tree.
Yeah.
Now, I just spoke with the owners of this home right here.
All right.
They have hope that they can move back in.
Okay,
Yeah. So I thought that's pretty interesting again because it shows all the way from California to Texas to West Virginia that we've got the same thing happening.
here
And,
too. It's bad. That's
Yep.
crazy.
and I thought that was really interesting because I mean I used to live and work right there in Palo Alto, and I mean so it kind of still feels like home. I love that area. I want to move back there
Yeah.
someday. So and that was a very mild climate there. I mean there was like that would never have happened like 10 years ago when I was
Yeah, that
living
wouldn't
there.
make any sense for it to typically happen, right?
No, that if you count up all the trees that had been ripped down by wind in the last 100 years,
Mm.
it's probably a hundredth of what just happened last week.
Oh my gosh. It's
Like it
crazy.
doesn't happen. It doesn't happen out there.
Yeah, yeah, right. Um, and Candy, we got in the first stream we started when we so rudely got shut down for some reason. You were telling us about what you were experiencing there. Would you want to talk about that real quick about the the burn holes and stuff that you're
Yeah,
seeing?
just been noticing it for years, and I just go out there, and it's like when I'm walking around the yard and stuff, and I'm looking because I'm always looking at the flowers and the weeds and the trying to see what medicinal plants I could find. But I'm looking, and my leaves on all the trees have these like burn holes in them, and I've noticed it for a long time, and I get so flustered because I know what I'm seeing. I know that's not natural.
Like
You know,
fertilizer would do? Is that what you're speaking of?
well,
Like that kind of a chemical reaction, I guess is what I'm asking.
Well, like I said, to me, they're perfectly round little like marks. They're black, and you can see where it's like it's been torched, with these little tiny dots. And so I was first looking, noticed it on the leaves, and it's just so upsetting because, like I said, I know that it hasn't always been that way, and so
Right.
because like I said, I look at the weeds, I look at the plants, and
I
everything's
noticed it here
burnt.
too after you told me that. Like when Eric told me about the trees, I started looking. It's funny what we miss when we aren't always observant. And
And then
when
I
someone
went to
says
go
something, there it is.
I went to go in my house one day, and I noticed on the siding, I'm like, there's those little black specks on my siding. Look on the metal on my screen door, little black specks. I
Well,
start checking the wood on the railing. It's on the wood. It's on the I've got like a PVC gate panel out there that we use to block the dog in. And
Right.
it's on the plastic, it's on the metal, it's on everything. And I'm just like, this is not it's not like just limited to the plants.
Right.
So obviously everything's getting covered with it, so it's got to be coming from somewhere
yeah,
up
yeah,
up
Yeah.
above.
I mean,
I
there's
mean,
like, if you just take a gander up, right where your head sits about that area and just keep looking from there, you might figure out where it's all coming from. And we do know this is affecting our environmental, you know,
well, and you
areas
might
of
think,
all the
what looking at it
points.
first, like, oh well, it's a leaf, it's a fungus. No, they're
That's happening
perfectly
too.
round. They're obviously burnt, and then it's on the plastic, it's on the metal, it's on the wood, it's on
Yeah,
everything.
that's what I noticed here was the wood areas. So, I mean, there's just so much going on. And I think Eric kind of nailed it with this is kind of a rippling into a deforestation. When you say
yeah,
Eric,
yeah. I don't know how long I drove today, maybe only 5 or 6 hours, and I kept on looking over, and almost every time I looked into a wooded area, um, I just see freshly downed trees following the same pattern where ordinarily back like 20, 30 years ago, if a tree was downed, the roots are usually so strongly connected that they're going to be like sticking out. The roots will have been pulled up and out of the ground, and you'll typically
yeah,
have the entire tree from like the middle section of the roots all the way, unbroken. Um, and you'll notice, like, actually it happened with me when Michael came through Panama City. I had a house in Panama City, right downtown, and the extreme, that was where it hit the strongest, is right in Panama City, and homes got lifted out of the ground
Yeah.
and turned upside down. It was just like the Wizard of Oz movie. Homes were literally thrown a block or two down. It was absolutely insane.
It was bad, wasn't
And
it? I heard
my
about that too.
yeah, and my main big tree in my yard that was just as big as the tree that I just saw, that I just mentioned, that just came out of the ground 2 nights ago up in my parents' place up in West Virginia. So it was a huge 100-some-year-old tree. It got tore out of the ground, but the roots came up with it. There was a massive, it was like a giant pickup truck worth of huge,
Yep.
massive roots. So ordinarily a tree is not going to get blown and then crack at above the roots. Or the roots are going to
Yeah.
come out of the ground with it.
Just saw that today when I went out to that property. It's unbelievable. There's nothing that should have done that to it. I
Yeah.
tried to share that to you, but I can't. I can't even email it. The file's too big to email it. So
Well, and honestly, like we moved out here in '99, and it was raw land, and I told you we did a lot of the clearing and all ourselves. And then plus, even after we did that, I was always out into the woods picking berries and, finding stumps of wood to make stuff with and pulling vines. And so that was when my Morgellons symptoms really got like there was no like there's something really wrong. That was like my awakening once I was out there, around the trees and stuff. And when I would go to pull the vines, I'd come home, my hands would be so broke out and blistered and always messed up. And again, too, even like when we have a big hurricane coming, every single time, there's so much saturation in the sky prior to. And then afterwards, like I've driven around the neighborhood after we've come back home, after leaving, come back home, there's like webbing all over the farms. I actually got pictures and videos where there was so much of it. It was going from like one telephone pole to the other. The farms are completely saturated. The farmers are out there on their tractors, and I'm like, what are they doing? It's like,
what they're
it's just
doing
everywhere.
right.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've actually come back and drove around the neighborhood and videotape where it was just, everything was completely saturated with webbing,
Weird.
because what goes up must come down.
That's the weird thing. I don't seemingly appear to be observed more. Doesn't it seem like that? Not too many people looking up at all, maybe. Well,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
no, there's a reason why they want a phone in everyone's hand, because it makes you look down.
You betcha. You betcha. Yeah, you nailed it. Or just
Uh,
creating chaos in different areas, putting it on the news, having to that. Folks. Every time
Yeah.
that's what's going on. There's something bad going on everywhere. There's
All
so
right,
much to
so
this.
so as I've been talking about this, kind of like a 1-2 punch, the deep freeze and then the extreme windstorms come, and then there go the trees. Well, is there a third factor? Is this a three-hit combo? Is it the weather in, just the temperature and the wind, or obviously I already know that yes, there's a third factor here. Obviously, I don't know how much we can say on here, but it has to do with spraying, right?
All right. What goes up must come down.
Yeah, yeah, and I'll just say that I've been tracking the spraying, wink, wink, for a long time, for like over 10 years, and I'll say that from last fall all through the winter, the spraying is like 10x normal.
So much.
Yeah, it's like every single morning, immediately they start to cross. They do multiple crosses.
Exit all.
Yep, and previously the last couple of years, I mean, yeah, it was happening, but it was like maybe not even every day, and then when it wasn't like a total grid. But
Yeah,
but
exactly.
but starting last fall, it's absolutely insane. So I'm gonna say that, oh, that's my theory, but clearly um it's related. That's all I'll say.
Clearly related, yes. And I mean, I just don't know how it could be any more obvious. I mean, our cloud formations, nothing is sitting right up there. Nothing. There, I mean, there is nothing at all normal. And I mean, I went to, the or conditioning classes and geography classes and everything that everyone else went to, right? And what they taught us, the opposite of this. How these, what are they, the dog ears? Around heavy
They're starting to
metal.
drag your voice out, Lisa. Your voice is starting to get drug out.
Oh, you're breaking up.
We've had a bad, I'm not surprised right now. So you continue.
Well, and then there's something else that came to my mind related to this topic, and that's I just caught a video. Well, I just caught a clip of someone's composite video, and it was a airplane. It was an airplane at the airport. So, not quite taken off yet. And the plane started spraying out of its tail like a massive amount of stuff. Like clearly this was not just like an accidental release of some
Yeah.
temporary gas, whatever. It was clearly like oops, they flipped the switch on the spray like
Yep.
accidentally, and it was filling up the entire portion of that part of the airport. And I wish I could. I'm just on my phone right now. I don't think I could bring it up so easily, but and maybe it's been kind of squashed on all the popular platforms. But if people go and do some Google searching about, yeah, Brit says they saw that one, yeah, where it's obvious that like someone just accidentally flicked the switch to start the spray like while they're still on the ground,
Britt
and I'm
says I
thinking to
saw that
myself,
one.
yeah, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, those poor ground workers out there, they're breathing in all that crap like in huge doses, like they're gonna die. Oh my God.
Right? Yeah, but
Yeah.
guys, I apologize if I'm breaking up still because it is giving me all sorts of issues right now. So
Hey, you're
this is
good
gonna
now.
be short tonight anyway because I know Eric's gotta keep traveling and Candy's hurting. She hurt her back pretty good, right, Candy? She's in
Yeah.
pain. So am I
Yes, I
still
mean, I think
stuck?
that's pretty much. No, you're good now.
Oh, okay. Because I mean, I
For
know
the
the
moment.
weather's bad, but still, usually get through it. But booby tube gel, it's just right around the corner, and it loves locking me up, either my screen or me. So, but oh, you're sideways, Eric. Wait, where'd you go?
Oh, sorry, I just tabbed out to look at my.
I just looked. I'm like, wait, where'd you go? I don't
I'm
know what
just
happened.
looking at my notes over here.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you remember, Lisa, me telling you, like years ago, one time I went out to go check the mailbox. And as I walked out the door, I was like, okay, you're not going to look up. You're not going to look up. You're not going to look up. Just go check your mail and get right back. So, I mean, my mailbox is a pretty good distance from the front door. I walk all the way to the mailbox. I never looked up. And I was coming back and just barely got across the road. And I was like, okay, you need to look up. I looked up and I swear, the strangest thing I'd ever seen. Half the sky was completely covered and the other half was not. And
Yeah.
it's just like a straight line where like it was like divided. And I was like, this is crazy.
I've
And
seen
I'm
that.
sitting there watching two planes
Yeah.
go in and out this one side that's completely covered. And then they would come out the other side, and they do a loop and go back to the other side. So I called my friend. She lived about an hour and a half away from me. I was like, do me a favor, go walk out in your yard, look up at the sky, and tell me what you see. And she's like, okay, half the sky's covered, half the sky's not.
Right.
I'm
Yep.
like, oh, my Lord. So it was like, yeah, we're like a couple of towns away from each other, and she's seeing the same thing I am, you know?
Yep.
Right.
I videotaped it because you could actually see, like I said, the planes going in and out of that real thick side, coming to the other side, nothing. It was completely blue, back to the other side. Just, oh, it was
I know
insane.
exactly what you're talking about. You want to hear something? Actually have a photo I accidentally captured. I didn't even know that I did, but I saw one day, like this has been about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, probably. No, it's been 6 years ago. The formations you guys are talking about, and like Eric was talking about the grid and the crisscrossing, right? Well, one day I saw this black object like come flying out of it, and I was trying to snap it.
Oh, you're breaking up. You're breaking up.
Nice.
Right when the story was coming, you break up terribly.
Yeah, it's because I'm going to tell something. So.
All right, since she's breaking up, I'll throw this one out there too. If nobody's ever seen the black trails,
Yeah.
I was driving home in Jacksonville, and you could actually see black trails.
Seen
I
them.
was just like,
I
I have
got
it on
yes.
video.
I have black trails on video from a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. I was flying home from.
yeah, I remember that. Even though you're breaking up, I remember that.
You saw it recently?
No, mine was not. Mine was
Eric,
probably a year or so
see
ago.
No.
Hi, Kat.
Eric, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you now. You were breaking up a second ago.
Yeah, the weather or something. You just saw yours recently, right?
Yeah, I ran in and grabbed my camera, and I actually have a video clip of uh
Oh.
the plane that was actually dropping the black trails.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I think it was actually 2 or 3 planes going in the same direction. So they were making like I think it might have been 3, but it was at least 2, like right next to each other, dropping solid black.
It's nuts. I mean, I was shocked. Well, I say I'm shocked. I shouldn't be shocked. It was still shocking every time you see it.
Yeah, that was
But I mean,
the
what's
first
in
time
it?
I've
That's
noticed
the
that.
question.
And then I was at a farm swap one time when I used to do crap boosts at the farm swap, and so I'm out there and I look up in the sky and see this one little small cloud, probably as big as a pillow, and I'm looking at this cloud, and it had like pink and purple and green.
Who's ringing?
We might have to get off here because it's like all the
it had
odds
like
are stacked
purple,
against us right now.
purple and green and neon yellow and orange and all in this cloud. So I was telling my fellow vendors, I was like, guys, look at this. And, oh, that's so pretty. I'm like, that is not normal. It's the only cloud up there. I said, watch me. I'm going to take a picture of this. And I guarantee you, when I get home and go to post it, you could see it on the camera. It is not going to show up when I post it. And it did not.
Somebody really
I gotta
wants to
get
talk
that.
to
That's my
you.
husband. Hold on, that's my husband.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart. She's got the best
Hey,
husband
what's up?
ever. I don't know if you can hear me better right
Yeah.
now, but Eric,
Yeah,
you
you're good
remember
now.
me showing? Did you see the video with all the particles coming down? I mean, if you go out at night and
Yep.
shine a flashlight, you can very clearly see it.
Yep.
But it's I just don't know why people don't. Like if you can say you don't believe it, like get your ass out there with flashlight, and then you can talk to me and tell me you don't believe, right?
Yep.
But
Yep.
they don't. It's like they'd rather be ignorant.
Yeah, I saw
Life, and it's fine with me, I guess.
I saw your video showing that, and then
There's lots of them, huh?
and then I saw what's his name? Harold Kautzvella had
Yeah.
a big clip of that in that one really well done presentation of his.
Yeah.
Luckily, I've been going out at night and trying to catch that same thing, and up in the mountains where I am, I haven't seen any of it.
Yeah, you're in a good. See, Oregon, I didn't see a lot in Oregon either. I mean, I think the
Okay.
less populated areas seemingly have a lot less of the nonsense. However, there was one night in Oregon that
Hey.
Yeah, I thought it was snowing, but it was like summer.
We were in the middle of the podcast. I was in the middle of talking when
Okay.
you called.
It could just be because I'm in
Yeah, we didn't get started till later.
a heavily wooded area, so it might be,
You on the way home?
catching all of it
All right,
before
then,
it
I'll
even
see
gets to
you.
me.
Right. Hold on one second. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, guys, I know Eric, you got to get. I love that. My daughter. So. No, I'm. It just keeps. Last connection.
Oh man, your internet's dying.
Anything else?
You're frozen up totally, Lisa.
There she is. Okay, so you and Candy, I don't know what's going on. Okay, you guys just. I'm gonna let you guys finish this because it's.
I'm back.
You guys. I. Reception.
Well, I mean, I think that pretty much wraps up the trees being destroyed by some kind of spray plus weather warfare. So I mean, if anyone wants to comment, that would be really cool to see more reports of the same and where you're from. I mean, both in live and in the YouTube repost. So it'd be interesting to see if we get any comments. Anyone got any different topics to talk about?
Working out for
Britt says he sees
you
it in
guys too.
California. What part of What part of California?
Too.
Curious to see if it's happening in Southern California too.
I don't know what's going on here.
I lost my volume. I can barely hear you guys. Before it was loud and clear. Now it's so low I can barely hear you.
Britt.
Sonoma, okay. Can you hear me, Lisa? Oh, she's totally gone. Is our stream gonna die then? Oh, here she's back.
What's going on? There's a ghost machine.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
But your video is freezing up, so I'm guessing your internet is just still bad.
Yes.
I wonder if she could just rejoin on her phone, if that would be better even.
Yeah, my volume's messed up now for some reason since my husband called in. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, so you can't hear me?
I can barely hear you. Before it was like loud and clear, like it was on speaker, and now it's like, I checked the volume, it's all the way up, so I don't know what is going on.
Huh.
I'm trying to, let's see, here we go. Maybe this will work. Settings.
I'm the one in the middle of the road trip, and I haven't had any problems so far.
No, that's not it. I don't know what's going on with it.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll be on the lookout for this stuff that you're talking about, Candy. The black stuff, either burn or maybe it's some kind of fungus.
Yeah, I sent Lisa some pictures. Like I said, you can obviously see its burn marks.
Okay.
Like I said,
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, and your video is moving.
Wow, I'm not frozen in time. Okay, I'm trying to sign in from my phone. So if you guys want to just keep the chat going here, I'm going to work on this.
Yeah, I do have like two more stories if we want to mix it up.
Definitely.
Totally different topics. I mean, we've done the tree thing. It's happening. Let's talk about it later more if people give more reports on where it's happening by then. So here's a very different topic. So I remember back in about 2017 when the whole flat Earth thing had well spread, and a lot of people were uh, converted or awake to it or whatever. So I started getting real ballsy and just talking to random people about it.
Yeah.
Um, and I remember talking to this one lady that I was kind of friendly with. She was an older woman, maybe like 60 in her lower 60s, just behind the cashier at Panera in Panama City.
Right.
I'd been just seeing her there for months and months, and I remember, and she was always very normal. I thought, oh wow, I wonder if she's like awake in some ways. She's just always very nice and normal. And and then I hit her with the flat Earth topic, and I can't remember exactly what I said to her, but I think I asked her if she heard about it or something like that, and she straight up like 404 error. She glitched out. She there was like no one home for like a solid 5-10 seconds. Um, it was almost like, oh, what's that movie? What's that movie with the like robotic housewives in that like perfect community?
Isn't that called
Um,
Housewives?
what's that?
Isn't that called Housewives? Sorry. I got on my phone and now I got a train going by. Go figure.
Oh, okay.
Go figure.
Anyway, it's like she turned into a robot and glitched out. Um, and it's almost like she couldn't even see me or hear me for a few seconds. And and I couldn't even get her to acknowledge the topic. It was so strange.
That seems like that's what that is strange. And that seems like that's what's happened to me, and it's kind of what I hear. Sorry, I'm outside now, so it's kind of what I
So
hear.
so yeah, I was curious if you guys have ever been talking to someone and had them like basically fade out of, yeah, that was it, Stepford
Stepford Wives.
Wives or Stepford Housewives, something like
Yeah,
that.
I think it was Stepford. I don't know. I never watched it.
Yeah, it's like she became one of those and just like totally rebooted.
Right.
um so I'm curious to see if you guys have ever, I mean, you were saying you have, Lisa, but
Oh yeah, yeah. Like in the comments, if you guys would post or comment of whether or not you've seen anything like that, because I certainly have many times. I'm outside right now, and I'm trying to show you guys. Like we got lots of flying things right now, but the sky is really weird behind me. Can you see how lit up it is? It's like cloud formation back there.
yeah, it's pretty black on my end.
Is it? Hold on. Let's see if I can.
Maybe I need to turn the brightness up.
Hold on. Let's see if I can make it bigger here. You guys see that area that's lit up there? Like the cloud. It's a cloud. Just a cloud. It's like a greenish color.
No,
Greenish
I
color.
Oh, no, I think it's being like compressed out on the live stream at least.
Yeah, that's not surprising to me. Okay, I'm gonna give up on just showing, but yeah. Back to that glitching out. That's what it seems to be doing to me right now, right? So,
You
I think
know,
we lost Candy because I don't see her anymore either.
oh,
So
okay, okay.
such a strange thing, but it seems like this happens. Like we talked about that whenever people try to get together and speak about things that are going on, when you hit too close to home, or they got us in numbers, also so to speak. It seems like that is kind of what what happens. So they don't want us talking by any means. I mean, and there is strength in numbers, and I mean that is just to me it's powerful and it's
Yep.
obvious.
And
So
if such technical difficulties haven't happened to me, in the past
Right.
many times, I would just say, "Oh, you're crazy," or "You just don't know how to use
That's what they say.
a computer."
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's what I got
Yeah,
forever and a day. And it was like, I understand that once or twice, three times could totally be me, but like without a doubt, I mean, it's like clockwork. I mean, just like, well, when I walk outside, there's a while, it was either a helicopter or a plane flying over me. And I'm not talking once or twice, I'm talking every time. But to tell that to someone comes out like you're a little looped, So I get it, but it is a true story for sure. It is really dark out here right now with all sorts of weird lights going on, but I don't think you guys can see them.
no.
So it's kind of I don't know. Like it's a clear night. It was storming earlier and I just walked out. There's that weird cloud behind me, but like over here, I don't know if you guys can see that bright light in the sky, but yeah, there's something. I guess I'm gone again. I don't know what's going on. Um, Eric, I'm gonna let you go from here. Like you just say whatever you want to say. You said you had a couple of topics, right?
Well, we can wait till we're all on better and um
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
and we
this
could
is
just
like
yeah, then we
crazy
could just
right
leave
now.
this as the topic of the deforestation. So if people could chime
Yeah,
in comments, that would be really interesting to see. Um, I
absolutely.
definitely have some
Yeah.
more stories I took down in my notes that I want to tell uh related to I guess you could call them ghost stories or demon stories, but some pretty interesting stuff that happened to me.
Yeah, yeah, we need to do that because between you and I both, I think we got some
Yep.
doozies. So that would be good. That would be a good one. You want to shoot for what day's good for you? Because I know you're gonna
Well,
finish your traveling or got stuff to
any
do. So
evening is going to be equally good. I'm going to be getting to Jacksonville tomorrow around 2 p.m. Um, and I'll
okay, you want to shoot for a
and, y-
Sunday evening?
Sunday evening. That's fine. Yeah.
That work? Okay. Because I think, we get quite a bit of viewers usually. Well, the weekend obviously get viewers, but a Sunday is always good. So, and I think a lot of people would really be interested in what you have to say, especially a lot of them have heard
Okay.
my stories. So, but there's some I haven't told either. But yeah, especially that. So, and I live right next door to a cemetery. Well, I'm renting right now because my house is being built on my property, but I can tell you stories over here even that's been like, what is going on? So with the orbs in the cemetery like we were talking about. So yeah,
Where it says
craziness.
terraforming Earth.
But
You know,
that's
you know,
exactly what.
I
In a
always
different
try
way.
to turn it around and see like, well, could this be a good thing or is there just another perspective to see this from? And on the
Yeah.
whole spraying topic, I've been kind of entertaining the idea that um so here
I think
well,
they're
get
helping.
this. This is really I guarantee most people haven't had this thought. So in total opposition, yes, it could be a good thing in a way. You could say that maybe these reptilian entities that even Jesus alluded to, he said when he said the people that live under the earth, he could have been alluding to, or what did he say? Not people, but the what did he say? I forgot. Anyway, um, I've heard from multiple people that there are these reptilians that are like banished to live under the earth in the big caverns, and there's like millions of
Yeah.
them down there, not just like a few.
Oh, they got a
A
nice little city
full-blown
going on down
city,
there.
no, I have no doubt about it. Okay, I've heard so many
Oh yeah.
people's accounts, remote
I know for sure. I've been
remote
down there.
viewers,
So
military people with firsthand physical accounts. What's that guy? Dave Schneider, something Schneider. He had his hand blown off when he went started drilling down.
oh yeah, he
Phil
was taken
Schneider,
out
right?
too, right?
And
Later.
what I'm trying to say is potentially if we're at a part of our timeline where they were supposed to have wiped us out, and now they're trying to finally come to the surface, but there's some kind of white hat group that found out that if they spray this crap in the air everywhere, they can't come up to the surface. So I don't know. I'm just entertaining the idea that it is actually some benevolent thing that's intended to keep them.
I've actually entertained
Okay.
that thought as well. Believe it or not, I definitely have, because I always look for flip side, because whatever's in the mainstream, we already know it's not that, right? But whatever gets to remain on YouTube also usually tells me it's not that. But that one is not really on YouTube. You don't see
Yeah.
that very often. So I did entertain that thought exactly, and I already know. Oh my gosh, there's like a huge rectangular cloud here. It's not a cloud. I already know what the underground looks like. I mean, I've been to Carlsbad Caverns, and then when I lived in the state of Arkansas and Missouri area, I found a lot of caving systems and areas through those. And I used to love to go caving, which get claustrophobic sometimes, but I mean, some stuff that's just tall tale signs. I mean, it's just,
Yep.
it's obvious. It's very obvious. And then you can look and see the cities that they actually show and admit to, and they're like, they're there. They're there.
Yeah, Britt,
So,
I
Candy, are you still there? I think. Okay, Candy, I got you. I just don't.
No, I'm here.
I don't see what I'm. There you are. Okay. Sorry, We lost you for a little bit.
Yeah.
You lost me for a little
But when
bit.
he called in, I lost the
Eric.
volume.
Oh, okay. So, Eric, did you want to
well,
add
I was just
anything to
saying
that?
I don't think it's benevolent. Yeah, just a thought I was entertaining.
I think it's important that we do use our own
Yeah.
minds and our own thoughts and entertain everything. That's what we have to do. The problem is we've had people forcing our thoughts from day one, putting the thoughts, planting the seed in our heads for different things, and many people not even realizing this
Yeah,
going on.
and then at the same time, we're just little men and women on the surface. We're just tiny little specks relative to the whole Earth. So who knows what we know?
Yeah.
We might know nothing. We might be seeing we might be seeing
Not even a
we might have
glimpse
no
of
idea.
what's
Yeah,
going
yeah,
on.
just like ants in an ant farm, I'm sure they're totally confused about where this food is coming from and where's the water. I'm sure, you know what I mean? Like we're just ants on this earth ant farm, and
The only thing I go with is the biblical aspect, because that one is proven true, and for so many thousands of years, even before the actual Christian version of the Bible was, the Epic of Gilgamesh. It goes way back. When you look at it in
Yep.
that aspect, kind of get an idea that these are the times and these are the signs. So it can't be too good. I mean,
Yep.
I guess that's where I
Yeah,
sit with
yeah.
it.
No,
But
I generally do follow the biblical concept ideas too for what our world is and what we are.
it's like everything always leads me right back to there, even when I venture off looking for, answers that could be elsewhere. It just, for whatever reason, it always circles back almost every time. I can't
Yep.
think of anything that, like, every answer's in
Yep.
there, so to speak, but some are not.
Yeah.
So,
And
but
another thing too, that leads me to another thought. Like we talk about, like a lot of times, if we think negative, then we get negative. Like today, I had to
manifest what you
leave the
get.
house, and I was in so much pain, and I was like, I had to go pick up a couple things, and I thought, well, while I'm out, I'm not physically able to get in there and cook or clean or anything. I'm gonna go stop somewhere and get me something to eat. And I was thinking, well, I didn't go anywhere all week last week, and I got a little extra money. What can I do something good for somebody? I was thinking this all the way to the restaurant, and I was hurting so bad. And I was like, well, maybe there's somebody in there, I could pay for their lunch or whatever. I'm thinking that I get to this new restaurant I'd never been to, and I ordered my meal, and I sat there, I ate it, and I got ready to pay, and she said, somebody already paid for your lunch.
Ah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's
So at least I can
awesome.
tell you, Eric, this
That's
happens
awesome.
to me all the time.
Freaky.
Like, so
Yeah,
it's kind of
it is
strange. 'Cause
true, but that's
I
crazy,
knew
because I think
nobody
it's
in there.
blessings.
I didn't know anybody in there. So,
Freaky. Love it.
and I was, like I said, I was in so much pain. I kept thinking, oh God, I can't believe I got to go out, actually leave the house and do this. Well, I'm going to make good of it and go to a new restaurant I've never been to before. And like, I'm gonna buy somebody's lunch or do something nice for somebody today because I didn't spend any money last week. I was homebound. No, I had that thought in my head all the way there. And I get there and somebody wanted up buying my lunch.
Yeah, see, that's a little
Maybe
reward right
what I'm
there. I
saying is
mean,
with this,
beautiful
well, what
thoughts
I'm
to
saying
create
is if
beautiful
with
things.
this spraying, maybe if we think more positively on it, then we can manifest something positive
be.
from it.
I can tell you, I don't experience half of the negative symptoms of Morgellons that I
Mm,
used to by changing a lot of my
exactly.
thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 100%, I think, that it's energetic, it's electromagnetic vibrational frequencies. It is all entangled without a doubt. So of course, I think that would have an effect on
Yeah.
And
everything and
I
anything.
believed
in
years
my
ago, like,
opinion.
every time I would go out of my house and go to down my steps, I'd just walk right through webbing and it'd get in my face and I'd just get so frustrated and shake and get so upset or, I'd
Yeah,
feel it hitting my skin when I walk outside when there's sprayings going on. And so I was always like a basket case. And when I
worrying about going
stopped,
out.
then
Yeah,
I
I mean,
was like,
I
okay,
went through that
no,
too.
you know what? I know what's going on. It doesn't matter. You know what? I'm just gonna have faith and trust.
Yeah,
And now I know when they hit me,
yeah.
but it just doesn't. Okay.
You don't give it
Yeah,
the power,
I
do
don't
you?
anymore. It's like it's amazing.
That's the key right there. Not giving it the power and the glory because you do have control to some respect. I mean, there's free will, yes, but I mean, we have control to some respect by our vibrational reactions and frequent. I mean, it's a ripple effect without a doubt. So I have to agree because that's how I think I cleared the majority of my symptoms was just finally saying, I don't really care. I'm not giving you any more power. You are unworthy, undeserving. You're not going to own me. You have no power over me. Like the movie got, you have no
And
power over me. It's a
and
never ending
again,
story. You have
we talked about
no
this
power over me.
too. It's like when you fear, it leaves your vibration in a negative state. So no matter what you go
Sure.
outside and see, like a lot of times I would go outside and I would look up and I'm like, I'm not going anywhere today. And I'd come back in the house and shut the door. But I don't do that
I think
anymore.
a lot of us
It's
went
like,
through
no, I
that.
still have to live in the meantime. So,
Yeah. And that's the thing. Nobody deserves to be robbed of your happiness. And I think, it's spiritual warfare at its finest. That's what is
and
wanted for
keeping
us
us,
to fear
yeah,
and
keeping us
power
in a
and
negative state
so
all the time, angry at each other, fearful, sad,
I mean, look
depressed,
at the world, it's all like that.
souped up
So
on drugs,
there's a few
souped
of
up on
us that
drugs
are
that
the
cause
same.
all those things. It's like,
Yeah, right. Well, Eric, what do you want to add anything else before we
Well,
all
I was just thinking as you guys were saying these things that at the very least, if you stay positive, I think that is, raising your individual defenses against such attacks. We might not be able to
yes.
shut down the actual source of the attack or the attacker itself, and then I'm thinking, oh my
Yeah,
God, well, this is the full armor of God. So when I was thinking,
that's
so
it.
it's
That's
so it's
exactly what it is. That's why I always say on my
so it's
podcast,
yeah,
full
yeah.
armor,
So I mean,
guys, full
the
armor.
attack is there, but now you're defended. So it,
You have the full armor of, yeah, that's
yeah.
exactly, I mean, you nailed it.
Um,
That's exactly, that's why I have that soldier at the end of my videos always with the lady that says full
uh,
armor. And
yeah,
yeah, exactly. It's
and then I
spiritual
think
warfare.
if enough
So,
people have their armor up and are praying against a certain thing, then yeah, then the attacker might eventually get attacked, and
yeah, the problem is the
well,
population,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's like
the workers are
convincing them.
few, right? Um,
And the doorway is narrow and very few will enter. And it
well,
specifically says that for a reason. So but we still have power over
and,
what we put
and
out into the
this
world.
plane that started spraying the stuff at the airport, that might have been as a result of all this prayer slash intention of people wanting this to be more uh I don't know, like now we have something to point to show to everyone, like, look,
That's how
this
it works.
is
Yep.
happening, like that this is the only thing it could be, just to get some more
Yeah.
attention on it, so that, I mean, because it's like the
When your back's to turned, they're doing something
Yeah,
different.
yeah, it's
Exactly.
the turn the lights on and the roaches scatter. So, just getting light on stuff that is negative attacks, it's just gonna make it go away.
And
Absolutely.
yeah, actually, there's
Yeah.
the energy clearing protocol. I've actually cleared the trails out of the sky by doing
Uh,
that energy clearing. It's your thought and your intention that the power that's behind it.
Yeah, I think that's what like with people do Reiki or whatever. I mean, and I'm not into any of that, but whatever they do, I don't necessarily agree with it. But what I can tell you is it is intent, everything, including the energy clearing. It is your intent. Like I could go out there and probably take a stick right now and wave it in circles in the air, and if my intent was to have my body be vibrationally corrected, I'm
well,
willing to bet it was going to
yeah,
happen. And I've done it, so not
and
to
this
say,
isn't
but
some woo-woo like religious
not
thing.
witchcraft or voodoo.
This is a scientific, physical reality, and thankfully we have the famous dual slit experiment, which in a
Right.
laboratory in a repeatable manner can prove that it is human intention that does everything that creates that we literally
Absolutely,
create
yes.
the physical reality that we are interacting with, at least at least in a particip in a partic
Through
in a
observation,
particip
absolutely,
what how
yeah.
do I say that, in a participatory in a
Participation
participatory manner at the very least. Okay.
in a
Yeah,
participating
yeah,
manner.
and
There
so
we go.
the dual slit experiment proves that,
Yeah.
where our intention, where our focus goes, we uh, cause the ether to become matter. In short. Um,
Yeah. Totally agree.
so
Totally.
a- and
I mean, there's power with the thinking
and
of
of
that
course
too.
we've got the
So
principle of where two or three are gathered together in my name, there I am together with them. So,
that's why I was saying
yep,
strength in numbers, and I think that's why they're trying to shut us down because we got three of us here tonight, and they were
Well,
working really hard.
and we
I mean, they
we've
always do,
actually,
but
a friend of mine was in Kentucky. I'm in Florida. Both the skies were completely covered. We were on the phone together, and we both cleared those trails at the same time on the phone, and they went away. And
yeah,
one time during bike week, I was loading up my vehicle with my product. The sky was completely saturated, and I was like, oh, only thing I could think about was all the bikers that were going to be on the road that day and how much they were going to get all this stuff on them. And I was just like, so I did my clearing thing, and by the time I got to my location where I was setting up at, the skies were completely clear, and it never came back that day.
that never stopped me from
Yeah,
riding. I'm not gonna lie. That's the one thing. My motorcycle was
yeah,
my
yeah, but
life.
and
So
most of the
that was,
bikers
I was
don't even know, but I knew, and knowing that they were going to
you
be on
knew,
the
and so I'm
road
gonna
from
need you to do that
South
for me, I
Carolina,
guess. So
North Carolina, Alabama, I'm like all these people, and I'm like,
yeah.
oh my gosh, I can't not do something. I had to do something, so it worked.
Yes, that's awesome. Yeah, I know it does. I totally. I mean, like he said, it's scientifically proven, and it is a factor in everything. So I mean, I really believe that what your intent is, what you participate in, like you said, is literally a factor in everything, and can make or break, a human's
yeah.
spiritual
About that
battle.
cloud busting thing. The concept is even, I don't know, it's like truth dropped or mocked in a way in that movie, The Men Who Stare at Goats. Have you guys seen that?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I'm from New
Yep.
Mexico, so yeah, Navajo. I was the Navajo. Indians, or they're not Indians. I don't know why they call them that, but you know what I mean. They were like taught me so much, but that's the
Yeah.
whole reason I watched that. They're an amazing group too. But that's a thing that everyone I think can do, right?
Yep.
Think anyway. I really do. I mean, I can do it.
Well,
Well,
as
Can you?
pray, meditate, do your energy clearing, whatever you do, your Reiki.
Well, they had a language too that they
Yeah.
were using, but
Well, remember the
it's
old rain dances from the Indians from way back? hundreds of years ago.
Oh,
There you
I
go.
watched. I used to get to watch it every weekend. Yeah,
Yeah, that's totally what that
all the
was, is their focusing of the intent.
yep. Just like your monks, that you see with some of them that can actually levitate, and I believe 100% they can. I mean,
I
it's
used,
just
I used to could.
the
I
things
used
that
to
they're
could.
doing. Yeah, right. Yeah, like I said, I think there's a lot of stuff that we all can do, and it's not magic or black magic or voodoo or anything bad, like or satanic, like a lot of people try to throw it out there as, because again, I think that's been misconstrued in so many ways, but I think that we all have spiritual gifts. I 100% do. I mean, we just got to tap
Yeah.
into them, and in order to do so, you got to be healthy, stay healthy, and healthy thinking is
Yeah,
also
yeah.
part of
Just
it.
like we're all good or bad at certain physical things with our physical bodies, I think our spiritual bodies also have that same variety of talents and deficits.
Yeah,
Um,
100%. And they have to be nourished just like your physical body does. Your
did you,
spiritual body needs to
you
be
see what
nourished
Kat
just as
says
fine.
about the white vinegar outside? I've heard that so many times.
I can't read it. Like I'm on my phone now, so I
But
literally
she
can't
says
read it. So
a
what did she say?
dishpan of white vinegar put outside clears up the sky overhead. And I
Good to
I've
know.
been hearing that for
Didn't know that.
years, and stupidly, I've just never experimented with it.
I'm gonna go do it right now. Let me see if that
And
cloud's
it
still
would,
there.
you know what?
I've got the weirdest
I can
scorpion
totally
over
see it
here.
happening because to me, vinegar is the most disgusting, vile thing in all of physical reality. So, so,
Well, that's why they say that homeless guy told
well,
me drink the
yeah.
pickle juice whenever.
I
I
mean,
mean,
and that's
it
better
totally
than
makes
straight
sense.
up white vinegar. So,
I like pickle juice. I could drink it with no problem. Actually, jalapeno juice is my
okay.
favorite. So
So apparently she's
I like
done
roasting it.
it and she was amazed. Oh wait, no. Yeah.
I'm doing
Yeah, I
it.
gotta
So
try that.
ready to. I
Well,
am getting
I've
ready to
actually
try it
used
right now.
vinegar and baking soda to brush my teeth with. And I'm telling you what, man, your mouth just foams up. It gets all that biofilm out of there. And it's like, then I just squish a little bit of mouthwash or Listerine in afterwards, to get the vinegar scent to go away.
Yeah, the vinegar is a cleaning agent. So, but I mean, it's
Mm.
the acid in it. So, I can't find the vinegar. So, but I gotta get this other phone because this thing is shaped like a. I have a triangular craft right here right now. So that's why I ran into.
No way. What?
I would no way, and I can't video because I'm on my freaking phone. So I got
Ah,
my
I want to
stupid
see
work
it.
phone that doesn't take anything. I mean, it's huge. This thing is huge, but I don't want it to go away. So I hope this
All right,
picks up.
I
This is the worst
gotta
phone.
get off here. My back
Yeah.
is locking up big
Yeah,
time.
yeah. I'm gonna get off too. I think because I want to get this. Shoot, it's already starting to leave. So okay, guys.
Okay.
Thank you for being on, and I'm gonna try to capture this really quick. And I think so. We're gonna shoot for. We
Sunday.
said Sunday about 7. So does
Yeah.
that work? 7 Central.
Yeah. Yeah.
Andy, 7 Central. If you want to be on Sunday, you don't have to, but
I
it's
will
there.
try.
All right.
Yeah, I'm
I
going
know
to go
you're
see
back.
I'm going to go see my new grandbaby Sunday, so
Oh
All
don't
right.
know when we'll
yay!
be back from that.
All right. Go
Fun.
capture that UFO.
Yeah. Okay, guys. You guys
Okay. See you
take care.
later.
I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye. I can't do this either. I'm trying to not be live right now, guys. All right, guys, I'm shutting this down the right way. I couldn't shut it from